You're watching.
Subscribe.
Hello and welcome to ScreenStalker 2, Olaf's Revenge. I'm Ollie Davis, this is Luke Owen. Please give us a subscribe because we are on the way to 50k. When we hit 50,000 subscribers, we will launch a weekly WWE 2K Universe mode. And in today's episode we've got...
Marvel possibly debuting a new superhero.
We're going to be watching the Frozen 2 trailer.
Is Netflix in crisis mode?
And we'll get to your comments on yesterday's video, what's the biggest problem with Star Wars? Today's question of the day, continuing that theme, is what's the biggest problem with Netflix? But our first story is the rumour, and this is a big old rumour, that Kevin Feige wants Ghost Rider in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I honestly think at this point you could just throw a dart at any character in the Marvel branding and then run a story being like, oh yeah, Kevin Feige wants to make a movie about this, because he can do.
Daniel Richman, who is a movie reporter with a series of inside scoops, and he just tweeted a GIF, or a GIF if you're that way inclined, of Gist Rider, or Ghost Rider, doing his flaming motorcycle thing into the horizon, and it says, oh, Feige wants this too. And then a lot of people pointed out, well, Ghost Rider was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV thing.
That doesn't count.
And he's getting his own TV series on Hulu.
That also doesn't count. If it's not on Disney Plus, it doesn't count.
Right? Like, I think whatever the previous plans were, as we've seen with the Netflix Marvel properties, Daredevil, The Defenders, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, like, Disney are just gonna scrap that stuff and pull the plug on stuff that is quite far in development anyway, because they're bringing all that stuff in-house again for their own streaming service.
Daredevil, Jessica Jones, The Punisher, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Cloak and Dagger. Let's just all consider that the expanded universe of Star Wars. It's all of this incredible canon that has been written, and it has been tied intrinsically into main plotline stuff that Disney have gone like, no thanks. We'll do our own, Tar.
Where this could get a little bit more exciting, of course, we're just running away with the speculation that Feige wants to use this character somewhere in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That doesn't mean he's going to get a standalone film. It just could mean that he pops up like a War Machine or Black Widow, Hawkeye.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
And I think he's the sort of character that works really well for that. As we've seen twice previously, Ghost Rider movies aren't the best, so maybe he is just better served to be sort of a background character.
Maybe Ghost Rider could be used to start to flesh out the supernatural side of the MCU. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the cosmic side, of course, with Guardians and Captain Marvel.
The Eternals.
Exactly. But then the sort of Doctor Strange side is a very rich mythology there, and another sort of way you can branch off into.
I just think that the Marvel are in a position at the moment where they could literally just cherry pick any character and be like, and put them in the film. Because we can, and get away with it. Frozen 2, official trailer 2.
This trailer is super, super widescreen. It caught me by surprise. If you watch it on a YouTube page, it feels like the top half's cut off. I just kept on trying to scroll up.
So this is my first time seeing this trailer. I see we're getting more of that troll-based stuff that was a bit of a clanger in the first movie.
And they got their own spin-off as well, didn't they?
Did they?
Am I mixing it up with another troll franchise?
You're thinking of like the actual trolls from the 90s.
Just assumed it was all the same thing. So Elsa and Anna, they're still together. And Olaf's in there too.
But is something going wrong with Elsa here?
Well, the basic plot of the movie is that there is sort of a threat from the north, kind of Game of Thronesian, in that this enchanted forest has been locked off forever, and now the mist is beginning to clear, and that could spell disaster for Frozen Land.
No.
So they're sort of building on the Norse mythology. It's nice to see them together as a team.
It is actually really nice to see them.
And the whole gang.
Yeah.
And then, you know what the North has? Ethnic diversity. Oh, that's right, we got... Ooh, types of people. Some cool, sort of almost Mario Maker stuff there.
Yeah.
So those rocks, I think, look like a giant, sort of Norse mythology mountain giant who's crumbled. So expect those to come back. I mean, you do see them a bit in the trailer.
I like there's different elements at play here, not just frozen stuff, but there's also like tidal waves, there was tornadoes there. Onto the call, Ghostbusters are coming.
Yep, there they are. There's the giant Norse mountain creatures.
Yep. Sea creatures.
A seahorse, yeah, an ice horse.
Yep. Big kaiju rock monsters.
Gollum. And then she tames the frozen horse at the end. Pretty
Yeah.
badass. He's just such a good character. Yeah, not too far away. So we didn't get a taste of any of the songs there.
No.
But I'm excited about delving more into this fantasy world outside of just the frozen town and
I very much appreciate it. I love that you're positing this idea, but I'm sure Disney are more concerned with what's our next Let It Go. Like, that's where all of the time and effort has gone into. They've got it could be about anything. Make me any old film, I don't really care. Just make sure we've got another Let It Go in there that we can make a lot of money off of.
Netflix? More like net loss flicks. Netflix, over the course of 2019, has steadily increased its stock market value. We're getting into business here. In fact, almost half, again, 46% in their company valuation on the stock market. And this was mainly driven by, back in January, they increased their share prices by about 5% for everyone to buy in. And that, sort of inflated everything. But 2019 hasn't been the best year for them because at the end of Q2, they had some very ambitious subscriber targets that they wanted to hit. And they were less than half of the amount of international subscribers they needed to pick up. And that was coupled with losing about 300,000 subscribers in the US domestically on their home turf. So that was sort of the first big problem that Netflix has ever had to face. It's always been up since they were incepted. And this marks the longest losing streak in 5 years for Netflix. And all that 46% growth at the start of the year has now been completely wiped out, and it's now in negative growth. So if you had stock at the end of 2018 in Netflix, it is now worth less than it was back then.
There is going to come a point where this bubble is going to burst when every TV network and every studio has their own streaming service, and someone is going to come together, hoover them all up and put it under one umbrella and call it cable, and we'll be back to where we started 20 years ago.
But looking at the market now, Netflix's basic package in the States, so that's not the Super HD levels or the extra logins, is it's $8.99, so $8.99. When Apple launches theirs, it's going to be $4.99. When Disney launched theirs with the HD options, it's going to be $6.99. So then, for the average punter, they're looking, do I have Netflix or do I have Apple and Disney?
Yeah.
And I'll use a combination of two to make up the content I'm losing from Netflix.
But what they all believe you're going to do is just subscribe to all of them and just spend this apparent infinite amount of money that we all have every single month to have every single streaming service.
So I think we'll have a couple of years where everyone's got their own streaming service, but by the end of it, it'll be Amazon, it'll be Disney, it will probably be
Facebook.
Facebook, as well.
Google.
And then Netflix will probably be a top 5, maybe even top 10, but not in the top 3 as it has been.
Fancy lady. Well, fancy that.
Let us know your answer to today's question, which is, what is the biggest problem of Netflix for you guys? And, well, get to the best comments from yesterday's now. What's the biggest problem with Star Wars? Jobber JJ496, Holly Davis's #1 fan, says the biggest problem is Disney. Disney has become WWE. You like Star Wars? Here's a movie in space.
I'm not sure Disney's the problem.
Well, certainly their way of running it might be, because they don't really have that Kevin Feige visionary to be in charge of the studio, and they're their idea was, let's just make loads of movies.
I think that
and they
is-
oversaturated it.
I think that's certainly a problem, but I'm also going to look at the fact that the previous 3 Star Wars movies, actually the previous 4 Star Wars movies, including the Clone Wars, were all quite bad. And I've quite enjoyed the ones that have come out since. So I'm actually on the opinion of, like, things have gotten better since Disney bought it.
Alex Velez says, I think that unlike the original trilogy where Luke, not Owen, had to work to learn how to use the Force, Rey was able to use the Force from out of nowhere. I also find it interesting that both Rey and Finn were able to go toe-to-toe with Kylo Ren, who was Jedi and Sith trained. Then the Last Jedi's issues were 1, what was the purpose of the Casino Planet storyline? 2, the main plot was essentially the O.J. Simpson police chase in space. Regarding Rogue One and Solo, I enjoyed both.
The arguments that Rey being able to has been brilliant at the Force since day one is very unfair, because Luke was basically brilliant with the Force from day one as well. And also, like, with Rey, people seem to forget the thing, when she did the big, like, swipe, she cut a rock in half by accident because she was not that great at it.
So I guess Kylo Ren should just immediately kill her.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, if you want to go down that route, yeah, Kylo Ren should have just killed them all. Rogue One made money, but had issues. Huh? Rogue One was one of the best Star Wars films. It's on par with the original trilogy, in my opinion. That's from Dragon of Dojima.
Yeah, so I thought I'd include this one just because I think we didn't illustrate properly yesterday why Rogue One is such a problematic movie. Because, yeah, you might have enjoyed it. In fact, I think the last third is excellent.
Yeah, really good.
But that was the third that was kind of reshot. It was plagued with production issues. They effectively got a different director to come on and finish off the film. Tons of reshoots. Some reports said up to 40% of the movie was reshot.
So when we say it's a film that had its issues, those are the problems we're talking about. It's all the production issues, and yeah, the massive reshoots they did. Remember that shot where Jyn Erso was going up against the big TIE fighter that was in the trailers and then is nowhere to be seen in the film? It's because so much of that final sequence was completely redone.
Well, of course, get your answers to today's question. What is the biggest problem with Netflix? What a positive channel we are. That's what the biggest problems with everything. But it's from a constructive place. We want to fix these things.
And really, the only answer is Disney Plus. Yes, that's the problem with Netflix.
And give us a subscribe, because we are on the way to 50k. And of course, in like a week and a half's time, we're going to go live, folks. The plan is to have a daily live show for about an hour where we talk about all the current movie things. We'll have Let's Plays in there as well, so all the favourite stuff condensed into an hour-long format, and all the biggest parts of those shows will be uploaded separately the next day, so if you can't commit to a whole hour, they'll be there in bite-sized chunks for you. The best of all the worlds. Best of both worlds. But for now, please click the video that's just appeared on the desk to catch up with the latest awesome ScreenStalker things, and give us a subscribe so you know first when stuff goes live and all the exciting stuff we've got planned in the future, including that WWE 2K Universe mode. I've been Ollie Davis, this has been Luke Owen, and remember, we're watching.